उल्लकुसुमित द्रुमदलशोभिनी सुहासिनी सुमधुरभाषिणी सुखदां वरदां मातरं वन्दे मातरं वन्दे मातरम्.
Thank you. As you all know that we have gathered here for FLY's annual academic fair. To grace this occasion, we have with us our chief guest, Ms.Kauser Sayeed ma'am. I request our honorable directors to please come on stage and welcome Ms. Kauser ma'am with a small token of love. Ms.Kauser Sayeed is an accomplished educator with over a decade of experience. Her enthusiasm to bring together the best pedagogies to give the right learning experiences to children has inspired her to contribute to education through various projects done as founder of Learn to Lead and National Core Committee ECA, Early Childhood Education. Some of her projects include Chinar International Organization, which trains women to run home-based learning centers in remotest areas of Jammu and Kashmir. Allah Nature School, first nature school in India, Ivy World School Jalandhar, and many more. She has also been a part of course designing team for University of Hyderabad in early childhood education. Her unique journey has given her many awards from organizations like the UNICEF, the Times of India, and the Early Childhood Education. We welcome you to EnlightenED, ma'am. It's a pleasure to have you with us. I now request our directors, Mr. Chandrasekhar, Mrs. Geeta Chandrasekhar, and our honorable chief guest to please light the lamp. I now request Yashaswini, our grade 1 student, to share her experience about the academic fair.
Good morning, respected directors, parents, and my dear friends. My name is Yashaswini Rajkumar. I am studying in grade 1. I welcome you all to our school's academic fair, EnlightenED. Today, me and my friends will enlighten you about Montessori activities, science experiments, maths, puzzles, language games, etc. My journey to this academic fair has been quite interesting. We got to learn new things in newer and different ways. After our regular classes, I sat with my teachers and other friends to learn and work on projects. It was fun and learning together for us. Please visit my stall on second floor. Thank you.
What did you like the most? Take the mic.
I like most at the library.
Library you like the most.
I now request Geeta ma'am to please come and enlighten us about EnlightenED.
Thank you. Welcome all. It gives me pleasure that we started 2 minutes late, but thank you for making it happen just like 2 minutes off the time. But thank you for all of you for being here. So I'm very excited about, so today for the first time I have a script written for myself. So yes, so EnlightenED is going to be our first academic fair. So parents who have been with us since their children were in toddler group till they are wherever they are now, this is going to be our first academic fair. So we are very excited and a lot of things have come out on the table. So I'd like to just take a moment and enlighten our parents about why the name EnlightenED has come. So this has always been a constant endeavor for us to create opportunities where children get enlightened about anything that's happening. The wow meant the wonderment in children. And as we were in the process of the academic fair and a lot of things that children were doing during the year, things have been super amazing. Some children, like Yashasvi just mentioned how she likes her library. There are some other children, I will not reveal the activities now because that's going to kill the suspense for the academic fair. There have been like very interesting activities that children have been thrilled to do. For me personally, I used to come to school early just to see how things have solidified, how it has taken different shapes. It's been like a very thrilling experience for us as adults. I can surely imagine how it must have been for children. Also, this is an endeavor for us to enlighten parents about the different kinds of activities and learning happening at different levels, and hence the name EnlightenED. It is one way of being enlightening ourselves towards more of learning. And as all of you know, this is never an academic year for us. It's always a learning year. The more it happens, the more beautiful it makes us. So there are a lot of highlights in today's academic fair. Please visit all the stalls. I don't know how many of you have heard the names of hydroponics. Our children have done that. Please go visit the stalls. There are soaps at display. Not for sale, we'll do the sale on some other day. But right now, the process itself has been very exciting. There are a lot of food items on the stalls, nothing that children will touch, but they have a deep science that they'd like to talk about. And please do visit our preschool sections also. They have been the loveliest of the bunch because you can't expect toddlers like 2 years, 3 years, 4 years to stand for that long, wait till all the audience comes and still patiently tell you what goes on in their everyday life. So they're going to talk about their Montessori activities that they do and a wide range of activities that they're going to throw open for all of us. With that, I'd like to welcome all of you once again to EnlightenED. Please be enlightened about the approach. Please leave us your feedback. This is going to be your feedback stage. And there's a selfie corner. Please take your selfies, post it on your social media, share it with us. We'll be very happy to see all of you photographed. With that, we again welcome all of you, and my special mention to Kauser ma'am to have made it happen. She was traveling, she somehow rushed in to make it happen for all of us. We have an exciting conversation for all of you. I'll pass it over to Priya ma'am to do the honors the rest. Thank you everyone.
I would like to call Avya. She also wants to share her experience about the academic fair.
Good morning everyone, my name is Avi. I am studying in grade 1. After 2 years of online learning, physical school was very exciting. At school here we have activities and learning together. And last two weeks have been really fun with lot of hands-on learning. This academic fair has given us a chance to explore and learn more and in an engaging way alone with our friends. We would like to share our learning with you. Do visit my stall. Thank you.
So the other day I remember you were mentioning about something like SAP, Short and Powerful Conversations, right? I'm very eager to know actually what it is all about. Parents, are you also eager to to know what is SAP all about? Yes. So please come and enlighten us about it.
Sure. Thank you, Priya ma'am. I will also do a SAP now. SAP is small and powerful conversations. So SAP, that is what we are coining. So very good morning, everybody, and welcome you all to EnlightenED. So very briefly, SAP, as I said, is small and powerful conversations where our idea is to provide a nurturing ecosystem to parents, to teachers, children, and all the stakeholders of life, which actually works at the root of it. Mango season is coming. Everybody, mango season is coming. Everybody excited to it? Excited for that? See, if we keep on focusing about the fruit, right? What you need to do is nurture the root powerfully. So putting right manure, taking care of soil, water, whatever is needed at the root, if you take care, automatically the fruits will be delicious and beautiful with all sizes and all that. Right? So in our SAP conversations, this is like a series of conversations that are going to happen starting today. And these conversations will be from eminent people like Kauser ma'am, who has enormous experience in the education space, towards making the world a much better place and make the learning also in a joyful way. So our SAP conversations will be a series of such conversations where some small insights which will have a magnitude of impact. So that is the whole theme of these SAP conversations. And we'll make this as a repository of education for everybody who wants to get access to this. Not just limited to flight, but overall whoever feels it's like a repository of online videos that will make it available for everybody. So with the first SAP session, we are very delighted that we have Kauser ma'am. So we'll start with her ma'am now. Okay, so everybody SAP conversations, ready for the SAP conversation? Okay, I request to share this all with your family, circles, whoever will get benefited from this conversation as well. Okay, with that I introduce, I would like to initiate this SAP conversation first with you, Kauser ma'am. So the structure that we will have is a 10-minute of talk from the Kauser ma'am, and after that a few question and answers from any of you, and maybe one or two questions from our side. So that is the structure that we will be having, Kauser ma'am. So thank you so much.
Very good morning, everyone.
We need flies energy.
And being parents of children who are in the ages of earlier education, then you should be having even more energy. I'm sure they don't make you sit for long, right? So I was very glad when they both called me and they asked me to come to attend this kind of a fest, because fest was more about showing the activities done by children and they are going to present. So when children have experienced the entire process, then it's a whole new experience for someone like me to be able to come and witness that. And that was the thing that motivated me to run and come, as he actually told. So I was in Jalandhar, Punjab, the day before yesterday. And I was so excited all through that I'm going to see children work now. And then secondly, parents. They form a very core of the kind of work that we do for children in early years, because it's very important. Now that you've given me the opportunity to be able to speak as SAP, then I would like to take this opportunity to discuss about what's our thought about parenting and how we see children in early years. When we talk about parenting, parenting comes with a lot of responsibility, isn't it? Now, the responsibility somewhere makes us feel more powered towards ownership of children. Directly or indirectly, we start thinking thinking of ourselves, not just parents, all adults, as owners of children. So we decide for them. We decide everything for them, and we expect them to calibrate their needs according to the decisions that we have made, and we think that we have made the correct decisions for them. Nevertheless, I'm not questioning the decisions you make, but we somewhere forget the child is a human in himself. He has a life of his own. He has a choice of his own, and he will also have a need of his own. Unless we inculcate the habit of making them take the decisions in smaller way every day, then we will not be able to equip them to become responsible in their lives. And that's a big lacking gene or lacking element in the world that we see today. All of the problems of the world, all of the problems of the world. If you talk about conservation of environment, to how we are not able to take care of the cleanliness of the areas that we live in, or how we are bruising the relationships with each other, everything is about the act of or the lack of taking responsibility or ownership of whatever we are doing today. Do you agree? We just say, even the Facebook, social media shares, we just like to talk to people, we just like to share without owning the responsibility of the impact that it is going to bring to many generations or many people who have been watching or listening to the conversation. So somewhere I feel as parents, as adults who are going to take care of children in early years, we have to take this responsibility of inculcating the act of responsibility in children. So smaller things, like, what do you want to wear today? Let the children decide. Let them take the responsibility of deciding what they want to wear, what they want to eat, which school they want to go to. I'm not saying that, adults know things better. We know things better, but that doesn't mean that we decide for them. So you empower them with the knowledge. You give them choices. You let them know. If you wear this, this is going to happen. This is going to be like this. If you eat this, this is what is going to be the nutrient value, and then let them decide. Let them take a decision. Let them fall today, because you are there, and you won't be there with them forever. And that's the fact of the life that we all need to accept, that we won't be with our children forever, and we have to prepare them for a world without us. And I always say, we talk about bigger things like planting a tree and saving the environment. I don't say we should not. But all of this that we are trying to do, for whom are you trying to do this? For yourself? Or for who is the future generation? Your children. Will you live forever? That's a fact that we have all come with. We're not going to live forever, and we are trying to do everything that we are doing today to make the generation better. The first thing that you have to start doing this, if you really mean to do it, is then give a better replacement of yourself to the world before you go. In the form of children, which can be from your womb or not from your womb, but in whatever little ways that we can do, if we can gift a well brought up child, holistically developed child to the world and go, then they'll take care of the world. We have done enough harm to this world, isn't it? So they will take care of it from here. So having said that, how do we ensure that we are doing that? How do we ensure that our children are growing the way they are supposed to grow? So there are two elements that we all need to go, a knowledge nugget, I would say, today. We need to understand that children in early years, that is the children till the age of 10, children in early years are not just growing but developing. There is a difference. There is a difference between growth and development. The growth is the measurable quantitative part, that is the height and weight of the child that we all are obsessed about. Many a times parents feed them, even all the adults, we are very particular about the height and the weight of the child. And we know that. We can can see that their growth, and that's why we ensure that they are growing properly. But there's another part to early years which is called development. Development is the qualitative part of it. The qualitative part, by that I mean that if you have your hand and fingers developed, but all of them don't have the same art of using their hands well, or the handwritings. All of us will have our feet, with the pace at which we use it, all of us can't become the runners, Olympic runners, right? So having the hardware, that is the hands, legs, and your body, and your brain is the hardware. That's growth. But how well you will be able to use it to make your and the life around you better is the development. And that's happening in early years. So early years is beyond academics. It's not the ABC 1, 2, 3 and the colors and the names of the fruits, vegetables that children come to school for. I always get amazed to see, I also ask teachers about this. Do you really think children don't know red when they come to school? Really? Do you really think they don't know what's an elephant? We invest our 45 minutes in telling them this is an apple and this is a banana, but do you really think they don't know that? While you're saying that, they will be imagining everything else. So that's why we need to go a little beyond academics, and early years is about development. They are age appropriate. Every age, there are certain milestones of development that we as parents have to ensure that have our children achieve that or not. And very important for us to do that, because if they have not achieved those milestones, we have to ensure they achieve it, because the window of development is still open. Once they finish their early years, then you don't have the opportunity to be able to help them with that. And whatever they have developed, it will stay with them for life. And then you do all the other parts of 15-20% that is left after that. So development, when we talk about development, the principle of development is cephalocaudal and center to periphery. That is all the things from the top to bottom. This develops first and it comes down. That's why when a child is born, he's born with an active brain. But he doesn't walk out of the womb, right? How much time does it take? About 1.5 to 2 years. So we have the development like this. There are 4 important domains of development. The first domain of development is the language development. Okay, with language you need to understand that skill of learning the language. That is listening, speaking, all that comes, writing the language comes later. By language with children, it is communication. How well the child is able to communicate his needs to you. How well you teach them that. So language starts with gestures, facial expressions. Language starts there. And then it comes to giving them words to be able to say things. Nowadays I see that we are not fortunate enough to spend a lot of time with our children. So children are not getting enough words to be able to say their emotions or what they are going through. So we have to ensure that part. We have to ensure that we use gestures, we have to use facial expressions, we have to use words. Talk to them about your day. Talk to them, just talk to them, just say that, it was a hard day for me, whatever be. Let them be a part of your story. And then they will share their story. So we as parents, both father and mother, have to ensure that we at least give them a 30-minute conversation. Have random conversations with them. This is what I went through in my office and this is what has happened. You will not believe the kind of conversation you will see from your child, how they will come back and they'll start talking to you. So I have this habit of talking to my son. Every work that I go or any project that I take, I do talk to them. I'll talk to him and then I'll ask him. So this is this, what do you think I should do about this? What do you say? So they become a part of your story. They will not feel that they're left out. They'll feel they're growing with you. And they'll also start coming and sharing their achievements with you. And then the synergy happens in the family. At the same time, you're answering their domain of development, which is language. Because of lack of that in the lives today, and we see most of the children spending their time on screens, which is more of a music or a language with a reason, not enough language to be able to have a conversation, we see children coming with language delays, which you must have seen a lot in children. There is a research study which has also shown that. So now this becomes very, very important for all of you, that you need to have conversations with children. And you do not need to become a child to be able to speak to a child. That's something that we all do. We suddenly think that you need to become a child, you start gibbering, and children will be like, what? Grow up. I know all of that. We suddenly start talking to them about their cartoon characters and all that. But children are way beyond that. So just speak to them, just the way you speak to your friends. So that's the first part, the language development. And I'm sure you're going with the commitment that you're going to bring that into your lives. The second part, the second domain of development is the socio-emotional development. When we talk about socio-emotional development, in social you mean the time the child spends with himself and the time that he will spend with all of you. So of course the conversation will be a part where he will be talking to you. When any relative comes to your family, many a times this thing happens when anybody comes to our family, we try to boost the skills of our child and ask them to come and say, my child knows how to sing, how to dance, how to say this, and you suddenly ask them to role play that or what in front of us. So even before doing that, okay, I understand we want our child to be encouraged for what he's learned. I understand that you want to do that. But first, introduce him to the person. Who is the person? Who is he? And you can talk about your stories with that relative. When I was a kid, he used to take me to this place, and this was the kind of a relationship I had with him. And I really want him to know that you have some of the things which I had as my child. So why don't you just talk to him? So, that's kind of a social interaction that you would encourage him to do, instead of just scaring them of all the adults in the family, that you are on the other side where you have to perform and engage or you will be judged. So let them be a part of that where they start getting comfortable with everyone in your family. Of course, you should give them a little me time also, where you encourage them. You have to show them ways in which they sit with themselves, not with the phones, sit with themselves and draw what's on their mind. If they can't write, just draw what's on their mind, whatever it is. The colors of the painting, the strokes that they've used will help you decode your child's mental being to a greater extent. If you start looking at the colors they have chosen or the pictures they have made over a sequence, over a series, after a time you will be able to understand the mood of your child. You can do that for yourself. You can try that for yourself. Start drawing one picture towards the end of the day and forget it. After 20 days, 24, 40 days, you just go back and see the sequence and map it with what you were going through. You will see a connection. So if you teach your child to be able to do that, then it will add a lot to the mental well-being of the child. Because that's a way he'll start communicating or putting it out, which is very important. So that's about the social emotional well-being of the child. Keep them a little away from the judgment, because what I understood, what she was also trying to say, earlier education is more about the process, not the product. Do not look at the end product. Do not look at the perfection of the way you want to see things. It's the process that is going to make them learn a lot more. So what these children have experienced through hands-on learning, they'll talk about it many, many years from now. None of us remember the exact marks that we've got in grade 5 in math. Do you remember? But you will remember one of the experience, the bad experience you had with a math teacher, but a good experience that you had with a math teacher or any other teacher, don't you? So that's the thing. They will never remember the product. They'll never remember the end product, but they will remember the process. So be it the educator or be it the parent, you have to ensure that the process is full of, at its own pace. We don't need to worry about that. So that's the second domain of development, that is the socio-emotional development. The third domain of development is the physical development. Now, in that domain of development, there are two kind of muscle development that happens in children: the gross motor and the fine motor muscle development. The gross motor are the bigger muscles, where you lift your hand, you kick the ball. These are all the bigger muscles. Then the fine motor are the smaller muscles, and they develop in a sequence. I mean, you have a palmar grip, and then after that you get the tripod and the pencil grip. So when you talk about children who are not able to write properly, that's because they have not got the enough fine motor skill development. So then you have to ensure. When we were children, we used to do a lot of our household work, right? But now we don't allow our children to do that. I don't know for whatever reasons we have done that. So because of that, they are not getting enough time to get the proper muscle development which they are supposed to do. So even smaller things like folding cloth and keeping it in the almirah, folding clothes, they may not do it perfectly. As I told you, don't focus on the product process or holding a tray and setting the table. These things, if you start involving your children, then you will see an immense impact in the way they will develop their other skills. The grips are very important for children to develop. Now we do all of this here. We don't allow our children to do any of our household work, and then when we blame that our children are given to screens, what do they do then? You're busy doing your work. You don't allow them to be a part of your life because we feel that they may break something or something like that, spill something, and then they're bored. So they automatically go on a screen. Instead of doing that, if you would have involved them, like when you were cooking, you just tell them to clean the vegetables, wash the vegetables, or just set the things in the refrigerator. What harm will that do to you? They may not do it perfectly, but your house also belongs to your child. The minute a child is born as a family, you have to ensure that your house is child friendly. Now, I don't know how much time I've got, but I would like to finish this 5 more minutes.
Actually, you're very engaging, so.
Yeah. So we have to encourage children to set the table. Don't worry about the cutlery. Bring the cutlery, which when the house is for the child, the house is also for the child. And once the house is in the child, if the child is in the house, then it is for the child. So just change all the cutlery and bring things which are, unbroken. It's okay if it's broken. So bring those things and allow your child to set the table while you're cooking. Allow your child to fold the cloths and keep it in the almirahs. Allow your child to clean the house, broom the house. All these things are important life skills. Remember, you have to prepare children for a life where you will not be there, and they need to do that today. With with whatever gender or whatever status or level of life that you give them, they have to do all of this tomorrow, and it also ensures that their hand movements are happening, their physical development is happening the way we are. I remember in our childhood we used to play this hopscotch. Now you see children are not able to jump properly. They don't have a balance. We used to do all this lamdi and all that so often, but now children are not able to because we don't give them that opportunity. So why don't you play that with your child? Play that with your child after your work. Make them be a part of your household, this thing. One, it will help you. Also, it will help them become a part of your life, and of course the screens will go away. So that's the only way that screens can go away, and then we can ensure the development happens the way it is supposed to be. So that's the third domain of development, that is physical development, and this is how you can ensure it happens. And the last domain of development is cognitive, how children think. So this is another thing that we do to children, that we decide everything for them. We don't allow them to think. So because of that, then suddenly you want them to think and then do the HOTS. Yeah? Higher order thinking. Where was the basic order thinking? Did you even allow them to choose which chapati to eat from the box that you made? No. You serve them directly on the plate and they're supposed to eat. We do that, right? In the form of love for our children, we have actually been ensuring that we give them everything on the plate in context to the reality of it. So they have forgotten, we have not given them the habit of thinking. They're not even choosing which footwear to wear and all that. So what will happen when they don't, when suddenly you put them into a situation where they have to think and decide, they're looking at you, which happens now. They're not able to decide. So when this is very important, see, everything is going to change. Everything which was there 10 years back, it's not there today. Everything is going to change. But some of the basic elements which are always going to be there is the need for the life skill, the importance of problems, or problems are always going to be there. So you have to solve the problems. So problem solving, thinking capacity, critical thinking, all these things are very important. Confidence, which comes when you start encouraging them. All these skills are more important for the children to be nurtured in early years. So we need to do half of the job and leave the rest to them and then ask them questions. Allow them to think. Let them make decisions. Let them make mistakes. Help them learn from their mistakes. And that's what is important, to develop the critical thinking of the child. And these 4 domains of development is important for children in early years. You can just go and Google this online also, now that you know the development part. What is the developmental milestone for my age child, whichever age it is. Even if it's a baby, just write 6 months, 9 months, or 18 months, or 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, and then go back and check if your child has got all the milestones right. If not, then go to that domain of development and give them activities for that domain of development so that they come to that level. Because once the window of early years is closed, you cannot go back and ensure that development comes back. So you have to ensure that it happens. And the second important element of earlier development is brain development. 85% of the brain development is complete by the time a child completes his early years. So I'll just close my conversation with 4 lines about brain development. And maybe this, I'm leaving you with the thought that it's not going to stop here. We need to meet again. Digitalization has made it easier for us. So we can probably make more videos and then share it with them where they can just refer it at their ease. So brain development is a very important element. We all need to know that every child is born with equal number of billions of neurons. I understand that that's a message given to us by God, that I am giving equal opportunities to all the children. But what we have not ensured is, they all have the neurons with them. But what happens in the early years is the connections between them. The connection between 2 neurons, and that's how the structuring of the brain happens. And the more the connections, the more active the brain will be for years to come. And connection happens every time a child goes through a multisensorial experience. So you have to ensure, is your child touching different kinds of textures? Is your child tasting different kinds of food? Language development is happening because we have gone into this artificial world of giving Cerelac food to children. But actually the khichdi khatta that we used to have, when we were children, the first food that we had was khichdi. We have to bring that back. All those kind of different food tastes that we used to brings about development of this cheek muscle and the tongue muscle, which ensure that the child talks. And now language delays are because of that, because of the blanch food that we are giving children. Bring all the Indian food back into the routines or the dietary this thing, and you will see a difference in the way your child will speak. That's why we have got more languages than any other country in the world, because our food is full of spices. So we have to do that, and that is the experience I'm talking about. Different kind of textures. We have forgotten, children use screens now, which is just one texture. So they're not holding things of different textures. Because of that, the language is getting delayed. They have to go through, we think that children should be away from all the pains of life. I have gone through it, so I'll not make my child. So they have not gone through the emotional ups and downs, which is required. So all of that is required. If they don't understand the intensity of the problems that are going to come, how will they learn to solve it? So remember, you will not be there forever. So these things is something that we need to bring, and all of these experience will structure, will bring about a connection in the brain, which can be retained if you, the second part of the brain develop. First is the multisensorial experience. The second of the part of the brain is repetition. Can you just guess how many times you should repeat if you want to make it a part of the strong structure of the brain? Just a guess. Give a number. 7 times in different ways. 10 times, 3 times. 20 times regularly. Like if you want a child to wake up at 8 o'clock in the morning, then make him wake up at 8 o'clock in the morning for 20 continuous days. Very first day, he'll do it on his own. 40 days, you don't even have to put an alarm. You can do that as a habit for yourself. So these are the certain things, waking up, sleeping on time, the washroom timings. This is something that you can set up now. So you have to do it continuously for 20 days. Then you'll be able to do it, not one day. Then they'll do it on their own. So pick up certain habits which you want them to be with them. Another habit. Don't, overdose them with things. And that's how you can bring certain very healthy habits in child. So these two important elements are important for brain development, multisensorial experience, by of course making them a part of your life. Don't segregate lives, which has happened. You're real and they're real. So you need to bring it together now. Sit and watch movies also together. Watch movies together, laugh together, discuss the story which is happening. Let it happen together. And then you will see a whole different life in your house and a whole different child that will grow up, and then that is what is the best gift that you can give to your child and to your world. So there is a lot to say when it comes to children, but this is just the beginning. As he said, it's just a sap. So thank you so much for listening to me, because all of us have gathered here for the most noblest cause that the world can do, that is children. Thank you.
Kauser ma'am, that was like a 2,000, 3,000 page report, concise and shared to all of us.
I tried my best to concise.
Beautiful. In fact, we being as educators itself, last 15-20 minutes of conversation, I learned a lot, ma'am. I learned a lot. And I strongly believe conversations are just stays at the mind. From these conversations, the meaning comes when they translate into actions. When they translate into actions. So I request all the parents to have at least 3 actionables. 3 actionables which you can actually implement at your homes right from today. In fact, right now as well. So 3 things which we would like to pick up for school, ma'am. Number 1 is about the emotional, the drawing and observing aspect which you shared. I request our academic director to consider 15 minutes of time every week where they just do that. And I take it for myself also to do this. This is number 1 action point that I would like to take. Number 2, the whatever we have been recording this session, ma'am, we will make it accessible to all our teachers. Unfortunately, today they missed. We will schedule special time to ensure that they are taking from this. I also request parents, I know whatever has been told, 5-10% of retention might have happened. Please go through this thing once again. Draw a beautiful plan for yourself and integrating your child. And third is letting children make decisions, not only at home, because it's their school as well. We will encourage more and more of such things for them.
Where they want to sit, where they want to put their footwear, let them decide. There must be something on their mind.
Right. Absolutely. So, Geeta, do we have a question for one question? Any one question? I have a few questions, but we'll give the opportunity to audience. Anybody wants to ask? Okay, Karthik sir.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for talking about things about the way we think.
Okay.
My question is, I do a lot of things that you have talked about. I talk to my child and everything. The problem comes when we are crunch on time, and they try to say, I don't want this, I don't want that, I want to do like this, and also when if given an opportunity for her, my daughter is 5-year-old, and if we ask her what do you want to eat, every time it comes, I want to have a paneer or a pasta. So like how do we deal with those kinds of situations?
You are, now, specific to your question, are you talking about the food preferences of the child, where he gives you food tantrums? He or she gives you food tantrums.
No,
How to
most
solve the food tantrums of the child?
talking about if you're on a time crunch.
How do you deal with it?
Yeah.
So, with parents, you have to be little mindful. I understand, we have very busy lives. So, you have to be very mindful about who is giving that time to the child. Like, these 2 hours are mine, these 2 hours are yours. And then these 2 hours you'll give it to them where they do their solo work, where they do the cleaning part. So, that 2 hours is there. Then don't keep a target that in those 2 hours you want to finish this. Then you will be able to bring the process closer and align. So when you bring it to a target that in this 30 minutes I want to finish this work with them, that's where the that missing happens. Now what happens? The pace at which we are thinking and the pace at which they are understanding is different. So they may take more time for the transition, and we may not take. So we get little restless because we are very used to quick thinking. They are not. So if you do not specify the time given to the child with the target achieved initially, but just with the time that these 2 hours are with my child, and then allow and understand their pace, then slowly it will come to a sync. It takes time to bring. It says it takes a village to take care of a child, so it's actually true. So initially, if you just remove your focus from the target and bring it to the time allotted and distribute it between both of you and the extra time which he goes out to play and all that, then that will help. One. Second, food tantrum. Now this is something, a superpower for all the mothers out here. Most of us face this problem with the food. You want your children to have certain food and they won't have it. So do you know what is vanilla essence? Bring it. Bring a bottle of vanilla essence in your house. Whatever you want your child to eat, put a drop of vanilla essence in that. Initially change the way it looks. I mean, if you want your child to eat carrot and he's not eating it, don't make it look like a carrot initially and put a drop of vanilla essence. Vanilla essence is kind of a smell that it creates which makes children like things. That is the only reason they like ice creams and chocolates and all the bakery stuff, because of a drop of vanilla essence. We've also seen many children eating rubbers because of a drop of vanilla essence. No taste in that if you actually see it, but they like it. Even the vanilla ice cream doesn't have any taste, but they like it only because of a drop of vanilla essence. So you start putting a drop of vanilla essence in the food and you will see your child will eat it. Please try it. I have been using this information all across to parents. And I'm open on social media pages. None of them came back and abused me that you're a liar. So it works. So it worked with my child also. So it works. So once food tantrum can be dealt this way. The second, that how do I ensure that you both sing? So initially remove the focus from the task and just ensure that it is communication with the child. Communication is two-way communication. It's not just I speak and they listen, but it's also they speak, which will take a lot of their time. How the children speak, and you also listen. So did I answer your question?
How many of you are buying vanilla essence today?
You should.
Only few, huh? Even in school we should have some.
And give feedback to them. I really want to know. It really works. It worked with my child. So we have one more question.
One more question we are asked. Okay, one short one. Sir, yeah, you are loud enough. Go
Later
ahead.
on also, if they have questions, ask them to email them to
Yes.
And we can just maintain the confidentiality of the question asked.
We can actually connect to Zoom asking all those questions and have that recorded and checked.
Yeah, but if they want to ask any question personally, we can just give them a remote ID.
Sure, man. Thanks for all the valuable thoughts you shared. Just wanted to understand, you spoke about the development plans for the kids at the early stage.
Yeah.
Do we have a reference
Yes.
sheet or something?
WebMed, the medical web which you have, just go to WebMed or ensure that any WebMed is a good certified web. You ask for the age appropriate developmental milestones.
Thanks a lot.
Then it happens. There is one more very beautiful website which is developed by my mentor, Dr. Swati Popatwats. It's called Born Smart. So when you go to that website, there will be a picture of a baby, and if you just touch any part of that baby, you will be able to see that what part of the what is the milestone that they are supposed to reach. So for babies, it's really good. Till 2 years, it will be really good. You'll be able to see everything there. For little older children, you should go to WebMed. And probably I'll share some links with you on age-appropriate milestones, which you can share with them.
Excellent. Sure. Thank you so much, Kauser ma'am. It's absolutely enlightening, and enlightened ed is happening right now. So thank you so much. For a great round of applause. All of you, as I said, SAP Conversations should translate into actions. One sincere request for the time that ma'am has invested, that whatever effort that is happening from school, can you all take this one request? The request is, each one of you, by end of today, share 3 actionables that you are going to do at your home. No sound. Everybody? Committed? Right? Okay, beautiful. And if you're able to pay some of them here also, fantastic. So with that, Kauser ma'am, thank you once again. It's a fantastic series of thoughts that you have given. Thank you.
And remember that whatever I have shared, it was not something that I think. There is a lot of research which has gone beyond. I'm just bringing you the nugget in the form of the usable information. But I'm not speaking anything which I like to speak, but it has come from a lot of research which is backed. So that's why it works. Thank you.
Over to you, Priya ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. That was really a very wonderful session. I would like to call our directors to felicitate Kauser.
Another health tip for all of you. We lose a lot of weight when we clap. So, जोर से तालियां.
Before we proceed to see the academic fair, I would like to thank all the parents for their support, the teachers, non-teaching staff and others who helped and who have supported in making this event a grand success. Not to forget our fly children who have done a lot of effort for this day. A round of applause for them. Thank you everyone. You can now proceed. The first floor we have our pre-primary children. On the second floor we have the grade children. And please don't forget to take a selfie at the selfie booth.
अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मागे गाहे तव जय गाथा जय गण मंगल गायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता